Good morning, Peacock.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I'm so glad it's Friday. And I'm excited because we have Claudia back on our podcast to give us a follow up on her trip to Morocco. Hi, Claudia.
Hi, thanks for having me back. It's very exciting to recap this amazing, life-changing trip. I'm so excited to get into it.
I can't help but to just put a smile on my face every time I think about the trip. Like that, I think of what we experienced and it just automatically brightens up my day. So I'm excited to get, to kind of do, like you said, a recap and just go over like the memories and like, what stood out to us and stuff like that. So we're super excited to have you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
So I remember when we were in Morocco, starting from day one, but day two, you were like, today's my favorite day. And then day three would come and you were like, today's my favorite day. I'm like, Claudia, you said that yesterday. He goes, yeah, but today's a new day. Day four, today's my favorite day. And because every day was a different experience. So would you agree, Claudia?
Yeah, and that was one thing that was the big takeaway. I think that when you travel on your own and you plan like typical tourist excursions, it's wonderful, don't get me wrong, but it was just the way that the week unfolded and all the different experiences. So it wasn't just touristy things. It was really getting to know Morocco, the people, the customs. So every day was kind of like unwrapping a gift. It was like, oh my gosh, like I had no idea this was going to happen or that I would love this so much. So it was the whole trip was just so thoughtfully curated.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I love that you said it's like unwrapping a gift every day because it was really definitely a gift type of environment. Every day we either got to meet locals and play with them. We went to the women's, help me, my brain fog. What is it?
The co-op.
The co-op. Thank you. Where we got to meet the young girls and just watch them. That to me, I don't know about you, but that to me exactly. It was like so close to my heart. That was a huge gift to me. And I hope that what we offered to them was a gift to them, but they were so smiling and they sang for us. I mean, what did you feel when you walked in? Did you expect, first of all, did you expect to ever have something like that happening?
No, I mean, we went, deep into like the neighborhoods, into like where real people live. And to me, just to see that touched me on so many levels and to meet these young women, these young girls. And you just realize that we're all connected, and it's people want and desire the same things out of life. And I think about those girls all the time. And in fact, when I came home, I told my mom about them because they just really touched my heart. And then when they were singing as we were leaving, I'm not a crier and I had to like kind of not look at them because I could feel it coming up in me. And it's just the connection of women.
Yes.
And the shared experiences that we all have on different levels, but we all are speaking the same language, so to speak. And it was very moving. It was very moving.
And I think it was moving for them also because from what Siham, our tour guide, had said was that we were the first group to have gone to visit them. And for them to experience women from the United States coming to visit them, I'm sure it was a highlight for them also. I don't think a lot of people make it through those streets to their co-op and visit them. So I think they were super excited as well. We might not, I don't know, people have different ideas of what people from the United States look like. So we were all kind of different colors and, different hair texture. But I saw it in their eyes. They were kind of like, oh my God, these people are from America, because that's what they say usually. And yes, it was very touching. And to see how hard they work to learn a skill, right, that can help them in the future in the case that their plans, family plans, don't work out as they have been laid out for them.
Yeah, absolutely. That was, again, like you said, every day I was like, today was my favorite day. No, wait, today's my favorite day. I mean, every day was just, and I'm sure we'll get into some of the other highlights, but yes, that was something that if you are traveling on your own or with your family, even like you would never experience that. So I think that's really the unique point of Two Peacocks Travel is that you're taking people into experiences that they wouldn't have otherwise. And, of course we did some of the fun touristy things too, but I think when you sprinkle in some of the culture, the true culture of the country, you walk away from a trip totally changed. Because you get
Thank
out
you
of
so
your
much.
comfort zone. You push yourself out of the norm. And I think that's what travel should be about. So bravo.
That Thank you. That's exactly what we aim for.
Mhm.
Because yes, we can do, Sandy and I always have like this inside joke, the get on and get off buses, right? Like those are great. I'm not knocking them, because if you have a short time in a city and you just want to see everything quickly, get on one of those. But if you want to experience it, get out of the comfort zone, just what you just said, and push your limits just a tad bit, because that's the way you're going to be exposed to things that normally would have never had the opportunity to do. And, for us, Morocco, like I thought Morocco was just magical. Everybody asks me, and I think the word is magical.
Mhm.
From the co-op to the souks to the dinners to, and I definitely want to get into, the other every day was a great day type of, what you're saying, like this was my favorite day. Was there a moment for you that was completely unexpected?
That completely unexpected. I think, well, there was two moments. One was getting in that hot air balloon. That was an unexpected
You mean the
experience.
process of getting into the balloon?
Getting into the balloon.
Okay, okay.
That was unexpected. Okay. Because I had done a hot air balloon ride before. That's not how it went down. And then two was going to meet Sihan's family and having that meal with her family. To me, those were the two, I think, biggest, like that meal. I still think about that meal.
Yes.
It was the most delicious thing ever. Delicious thing ever. It was that meal, totally unexpected, right? She surprised us, and I just felt really special, very loved
Mhm.
that she trusted us with really letting us into her personal world, because she meets people every day. I mean, that's her
Exactly.
business. And she bonded with us in a way that, well, especially with you two, because you've worked with her before, that she trusted us
Mm.
in her private space with her family. And that was really touching. That was incredible.
I think that Siham had mentioned and that was the first time she ever brought anybody to her
Mhm.
home. So I definitely felt like the level of trust was really off the radar, and she really had made a connection with the women in the group, and she felt safe, which is very important. So yes, I did not even know. I knew we were going to go to somebody's house to go cooking, but she never mentioned it. So she kept that a little secret. She really did a good job of keeping that a secret. And the thing was that we already knew a lot about her family and her. So when we met them, we're like, "Oh my god, you're the dad, right? You're the mom."
Yeah.
And but some of you guys were like ahead of me, because some of you were suspicious. Like, how does she know what to do here? Like, she was like moving things around, and I was just like, whatever, I don't know. I'm just sitting here waiting for the tea to be served. And then somebody said, well, I thought it was suspicious that she was moving the table and moving, uncovering the tea set. But I guess it makes sense. It is her house.
It's
Yeah,
her house.
So,
yeah.
which brings us to the
So
next question. How many cups of tea did you have in Morocco, if you can count them?
countless, and I'll never have tea that good ever again. It was
Right?
so good. I mean, I'm still enjoying my honey, my argan honey and my argan oils that I got there, but that tea, it's different. It's kind of like when you make it yourself. It's just not the same as the
Same.
way they do it. It was delicious. Everything we ate there that was traditional was so delicious.
I think, for me, it was such a great start to the day every morning when we would all meet to have breakfast, right? And they would bring out all this food. And it's just the opportunity to be able to start off on that and then go off to an adventure. That is the parts that I always miss from every trip. Because it's, okay, what are we doing today? And we're talking about what happened yesterday. So, and then they come with the tea things and they serve it. And it's such, it's a whole show. And you can't have enough of that. So I agree with you. Like I can't make tea here and think that it's going to be the same thing. But like you, I'm enjoying my argan butter, the oils, everything that I've been, we picked up from there. So absolutely, I agree with you.
I wanted
Yeah,
to
it
say
was great.
it is great. And I think some of us were able to bring back some of the tea that they sold in the place. I didn't bring anything back, any tea. Did you bring any tea back?
I did
No,
not, because I knew that I would not be able to, I'll go
replicate.
back to my
Anyway.
normal, Starbucks coffee, unfortunately. But it just being there, I just would, anyone who's listening to this, Morocco can sound kind of maybe a little scary, maybe a little foreign, very foreign, but it is, I feel when you're there, you understand this is where the world started. Like you see where other countries originated when you're in Morocco. And that really, for me, was a big takeaway when you're there. And I just couldn't believe, oh my God, I'm on the continent of Africa. Like that was just crazy. So Morocco has always been a bucket list trip for me, and I couldn't be more grateful to have experienced it the way that I got to experience it. So if you have a bucket list destination and you see it on their itinerary or on their list for the year, do it. Do it. It's incredible.
Thank you so much for that, Claudia. Yeah, I think that, I always talk about how as Latina women, when we go to countries, like I always look for familiar food, right? My whole post about McDonald's, of course, right? Because at some point, like I've had enough. And thank you so much for discovering what in Morocco gives me canker sores. And the
Yeah.
mystery, the lifelong mystery has been solved. But we're always trying to find something that's similar or familiar with our culture. But for example, the tagine is a very similar meal that we have in Latin America. Chicken with vegetables served over rice. The soups, the lentil soups, those are all dishes that have transcended across the Atlantic Ocean to Mexico, to Central America, South America. And somehow we make the same meals, maybe a little bit different, but it still connects us to where everything started, like you said, Claudia.
Yeah. But the bread there cannot be duplicated. I'm sorry. If you are a carb eater and you want to have bread and not be bloated and eat bread to your heart's content, go to Europe or Morocco because
I agree.
It's true.
I enjoyed bread every day and did not feel bloated. It was the best bread I've ever had. I think it was so good. So good.
Completely enjoyed all of the bread. You're absolutely right. Because you come here and you're like, okay, I can't have it here. But, not, to the point of the food, it's familiar to us. It may be a little different, but it's familiar. So when people say, you're like, well, what am I going to eat? You'll never run out of things to eat. And then in all worst case scenario, if for whatever reasons you really don't want to, you want to explore something else, you're always going to find McDonald's, like my travel bestie.
Even at some of the restaurants we ate at in Morocco, they had a kids menu. They had pizza. They had a hamburger. You could find something that you can eat. Yeah. You're not going to go hungry. But I did find yesterday, I was cleaning up my desk. I found the card from Bacha Coffee.
Me too. Yes.
And that was another memory I'll have. That was one of the most incredible, unexpected experiences in Morocco, right? You wait in this long line. Remember, we were like, this better be good. Like, I thought it was just going to be a regular coffee shop that people were going nuts over. Then you walk in these gates and this garden opens up. And you're like, what in the hell is this? And then you walk into this beautiful Parisian kind of vibe restaurant. And it's like a tea service, high tea, but with coffee. And the food, the pastries, the coffee, the conversation. We were like feeling so proud of ourselves that we got up early and went and stood in line. We're like, the other girls are going to be so jealous, It was amazing.
And France had a baby, and that was it right there.
Right, because all of the decor, everything that was surrounded where we were seated, right? How beautiful, from the wallpaper to the menus and the variety of what kind of coffee do you want? Like, you got hundreds to choose from. But then when they serve it to you, the way it's served, there's this delicate form of, I don't even know how to explain it, but it was, not only was the food delicious, the ambiance, it was an experience.
It was an experience, and you have to get, the early bird catches the worm. So the other ladies who wanted to sleep in, they missed out. It was incredible. I am so glad I did it. And that was awesome. Awesome.
And that was like something that we did on our free time. We were kind of like, let's do it. Let's go. Whoever wants to join us, let's do it. And yeah, you're absolutely right. The early bird gets the worm. Yeah. I wanted to kind of touch on the souks. A lot of people are afraid of souks, or the idea of being in a souk, like walking through the Medina, where all those shops are, because I think there's a lot of movies about people getting snatched or getting pulled in, and it's just like, scary. And it's I think my opinion is the opposite of that. What is your opinion about the souks, and what did you feel when you're walking
I
through them?
agree. I think people, see things on TV, or they, have these preconceived notions of what it might be. It is not, well, first of all, I was never felt scared. And I think, the Moroccan people are so welcoming and warm, and this is their business. I mean, they thrive on tourism. What would it benefit them to be harassing tourists, or, trying to be aggressive with tourists? I didn't have that experience at all. I mean, of course, when you're trying to haggle with them, they're trying to get their best offer, that's fine. But no, I did not feel scared. And I think if you go to Morocco and you don't do that, why even go? I mean, that I enjoyed it. It was just, there was so much for your eyes to feast on. And I felt completely safe. We always stayed in a group, which I think is helpful. And I think, with Siham there too,
Mm-hmm.
I had no worries. I felt, and that was one thing too, I think I would tell listeners throughout the whole trip, I felt totally taken care of. I never felt like I was on my own, or, oh my gosh, I'm afraid. I always felt by, the both of you, totally taken care of.
Thank you for that.
Mhm.
And I think that's the reason why we also like to stay in the old city versus staying in the new city, because staying in the old city really does, right, make you feel like you are in Morocco. Of course, there's modern Morocco, which is outside of the gates, but I think that having to stay there really just kind of allows you to take in the culture and the people, and because there's people living there. People live in old city.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. I mean, I loved it. I thought it was, again, I'm glad we did it that way, because if we would have stayed in, outside the Medina in a Hyatt or just a regular hotel,
Yeah.
I mean, yes, of course there's pluses there, but you would not have had the same experience. And we never would have probably known about matcha coffee. Like, you never
Right.
would have had some of the things that we ate or experienced or shopped. So yeah, you have to do it. You have to
We've
do it.
never met Pedro. Hello.
Don't forget Pedro.
You girls were nuts over Pedro. Yeah.
And Pedro had no idea.
He had no idea he was like the star of everyone's fantasy that week.
His ears were ringing off the hook the whole week. Poor guy.
Not poor guy.
Well, one time someone knocked on my door and I thought it was one of you guys, and I was half dressed and it was him. And I was like, I'm so sorry.
Came
Oh my
over.
God.
He came over to give you a flower, right? He was giving us all the flowers for
On
Valentine's
Valentine's
Day,
Day.
which that was such a beautiful gesture from his part to just
Yeah.
to think of us and deliver, Timing
Yeah.
was a little off for you, but nonetheless, it was appreciated.
It was very
Valentine's
nice.
Day to him. How about that?
Yeah.
Happy.
There was nothing really to see. Yeah, he doesn't want to see a 50-something in her granny panties. Like, no.
Señora.
Señora.
No, I think that, I'm really grateful that you joined us on this trip, because you have an audience who's probably, and we've seen people saying this is on my bucket list, but they just can't even bring themselves to the next level to actually book a trip like this. And I understand, because if you don't have a group like Two Peacocks Travel or anything similar where you feel safe, I think that it becomes harder. And we've talked about this. Some people reach out to us and say, when are you guys going to go to Hawaii? Or when are you guys going to go to Cancun? And we're like, girl, you don't need us for that. Like, you can do that. It's okay. But we're here to provide you with an experience in places that you would never go by yourself, because it's just the unknown, right? And so I thank you for coming with us and trusting us with providing you with an experience in Morocco that was such a great opportunity to meet Siham and make friends with the other ladies, and just really take in and bring home a lot of things that we bought. So tell your audience, what did you bring back from Morocco?
While I brought back some, beautiful pieces of jewelry, and we bought, some fun foods and things like that, I think all of that is really secondary to the beautiful memories and the experience that'll live in my mind. I may lose a ring, right? Or the ring might,
Yeah.
I might not wear it one day, right? But you're going to have the memories. And I think it's a gift that you give to yourself. And I think you hit on something really important, is that if you find yourself in a situation where you are single, or maybe your partner doesn't like to travel, or maybe your girlfriends, they just all can't coordinate to all go somewhere like that. Or, people have different tastes. So like, oh, I don't want to go to Morocco, but you have always wanted to go somewhere like that. This is the opportunity to do it because you're with a group of women, like-minded, two wonderful hosts that will take care of you. You don't have to think about anything. You get to enjoy. And it's a gift that you give to yourself. If not now, when? I know we said that on the last podcast, but that is my biggest takeaway is if not now, when are you ever going to do it? Life is happening, and
Exactly.
do it now. Do it now. Save, save for it, but do it. Have it on your agenda. Look ahead at your travel calendar with Two Peacocks Travel and say, I'm going there, and put it in your calendar and save. Maybe you're cutting out your Starbucks, or you're cutting out little things that you're buying, and you're saving towards a bigger gift that you're going to give to yourself. To me, you're worth it. You're worth that experience.
I think it's so important to reiterate what you're saying, the gift that we give ourselves, because you're right. We went crazy. We're going to admit it. A full disclosure. We got all kinds of jewelry, beautiful
I bought two
jewelry.
rugs that
That's right. Claudia bought two rugs.
Like, why did I just spend that? I got so caught up. But my rugs are beautiful, by the way.
Rugs are beautiful.
They're stunning. But yeah, that was like, I didn't go there thinking, oh, I'm going to buy this expensive rug, but I did. But again, it was a gift I gave to myself.
You gave yourself, right? And we give gifts to ourselves in so many different ways. But I think the one that stands out more is being able to give yourself the gift of experience and adventure and things that we would never thought that we were going to do this. 3 years ago, there's no way that you could have told me I was going to be able to experience all these different countries. I would have believed you. And so sometimes we find ourselves in that moment. We're like, no, there's no way I can do that. I want women that are listening to think about it for a moment. What is one thing you think you would never do? And go do it. Just go push yourself, enjoy. It may not be with your friends because like you just said, not everybody can just get up and go. We get that. But if you plan, there's so many magical moments that you can create for yourself. Don't wait for the magical moments to be created for you. Like you can create those for yourself. And we do. And I really do appreciate, Claudia, you stating or sharing that we do when we put together these trips. They are very curated. We want them to be something that is an experience rather than just checking off, a list. We want you to be immersed. We want you to enjoy the culture and take home something. So to me, it just warms my heart to hear you saying that what you brought back, and that is just, the most valuable thing are your memories. Because you're right. The jewelry, the rugs, like those are items and they can be replaced and you can do whatever. But the memories of us laughing, of us having conversations on breakfast morning, of us waking up from our beds to view a sunrise, like the Agave. We didn't even talk about the Agave desert, that we got to go. That, when I walked in, I just remember my jaw literally dropped. I don't know about you, but when I walked in, I'm like, I never thought I would see anything like this. And again, another gift to myself, right?
Yeah, we got a little bit of everything. So you really got to experience Morocco in so many different ways. You got the desert experience, you got the local experience, and then the beautiful seaside town that we went to.
Yes.
I mean, when I opened my hotel and I saw that I was like right on the ocean. It was like incredible. I was like, I never want to leave here. Like it was so beautiful. And and the shopping there was amazing too. So there's a lot to be had. And I'm sure if you go back to Morocco, I'd probably want to go back again just because there's so much to see there. You're not going to, you can't possibly do it all in a week. But I think in the week that we were together, you got the most, you squeezed the most juice out of that lemon as much as we could.
Did. We tried the best to try to get everything in, to have, a kind of the 360 as much as we could, but also still have time for you to kind of take it in, because every night, we start, this is the best day, and then you go back to your room and you're kind of just thinking about, oh my gosh, I just did this and I got to meet this person. And it definitely is a different kind of travel. And we do encourage women. And I love to hear that our story as well is to, just step out of your comfort zone and give it a shot.
Yeah, you have to just look at it this way. It may seem a little scary to take a trip with a bunch of women you don't know very well or know at all. But again, it's just that women have this unique language and we all have shared life experience.
Yes.
So whether, we come from different walks of life, which our group was very different, it was very diverse.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, we're women and we're like-minded in that we want this adventure. We're curious, right? And we all found common ground somewhere along the way. And you do leave with these wonderful connections with other people you never would have met. And you're in this little group together and, you go through all these experiences. You cannot not bond. You cannot not feel closer to the people that you're in this group with. Don't let that stop you, because I didn't know anybody. I mean, met you briefly on the podcast, but you don't know how you're going to get on with somebody. And I just think that like attracts like. So if you're thinking about doing this, chances are it's another woman that's just similar to you and you're going to be fine.
Well, I knew you were my travel bestie when I said, I'm going to go get some water. And you said, for what? You're not going to drink it. I was like, okay, girl, I see you. You're tracking my water intake. I've got like 6 bottles in my room and they're all halfway.
Well, you had a big bottle and it never went down. You just carried it for show.
So I was like, okay, she got me. She knows. She doesn't drink water all the time. So, but you're right. It's the connection, right? So absolutely. I think that every day we had something to laugh about, something to take in our heart, from being packed in like sardines in our hot air balloon basket to getting slapped around at the hammam during our spa day, hearing the prayer when we were walking in the streets, which is I just don't have the words.
That was amazing.
Right?
To hear the prayer, call to prayer. Oh, that was just, and you hear it on TV or you see it in movies, but to be there and I don't know, it's just very magical. It's a magical place.
Yeah, it's kind of like a reminder, like, hey, it's time. It's time. It's that time of the day where you got to give thanks for everything that you have today. And it really is a great feeling when you're walking in the streets. It really just makes you smile. I thought it was just very powerful. So, but thank you, Claudia. Thank you for taking the time in your busy schedule to come and recap your trip to Morocco, which you can take off the bucket list. And
I could talk about this trip all day, honestly. And then you two, I just love you guys so much. I can't wait to travel with you again. I'm really going to make, put all my efforts into going on your December trip or your November, for the Christmas thing. I have to do that. I have to do that. So I'm looking forward to being in your graces again and being part of your excursions. And you guys are the best. You really, I'm not just saying that. You guys are the best.
Thank you.
Let's not forget that beautiful winery we went to.
The winery. Oh my gosh. But the winery with the whole show.
Thank you for coming to my winery.
With some of our guests. Thank you that, it was Sandy's winery. And then it progressed over to, there was a secret whole relationship that came out of that one, and then someone else jumped in. You had to definitely be there, but the entertainment, once again, all of us laughing together, partaking, that was an experience too. You're right. Thank you so much for bringing that up. That was, I want to just start laughing.
Every day was my favorite day. I mean, but how many trips can you really say that? I've gone on many vacations, and I can maybe pick 1 or 2 days that were the best, but every day was awesome. Every day.
I just have to say something. I know we're gonna end it soon, but I'll never forget Claudia's face when we were in the hot air balloon trying to get in, and I thought, she's either gonna love us or she's gonna kill us, because we had no idea. She the way she looked at me, and I thought, okay, Claudia, I promise you we're gonna be okay. Now, mind you, I'm afraid of heights. And I was like, okay, I have to be okay because I have to let her know she's okay. But the way you looked at, I'll never forget that look, like, Anna, what exactly is happening, because of the way we had to board the hot air balloon. We had Sandy. So if I can even try to describe this, it's a basket, but it was to the side. It was laying on the side, and it was in 2 levels. And so the top level, Sandy was on top, laughing, filming us, and I'm in the bottom with Claudia thinking, Madre mia, I have no idea how this is going to work, but it worked. But just looking over to Claudia to my right side, her face, and I'm like, it's going to be okay, girl. Don't worry. It's going to be okay.
It was so great. It was so great.
Getting in the basket, you didn't have to get in the basket, like climb in. You just had to
No,
lay in.
I just had to like scoot all the way in on our backs, right? But I just remember Claudia's face, like wondering, are we like gonna be okay?
And Cookie,
I trusted, I did, but
She did.
it was a moment. It was a
It
moment
was a
where it was
moment.
like, is this safe?
and Cookie, Cookie who was like, what's going on here? Am I gonna lay down? My girl, just get in. Okay, I know you're claustrophobic, but you're just gonna have to get in.
There's no questions here. We just gotta go.
But
how it
sorry,
I was going to say the
great thing about doing the balloon ride was that it's owned by a woman, and that's part of our whole thing is supporting
Yes.
women. She's the owner of this balloon company, who her sons are the pilots. I mean, and she was there to make sure that we got on the balloon okay, and she was waving at us. That was like super powerful, and she sent an apology later because she wanted to take a picture with us. But she didn't get to do it because she was so busy coordinating, because there was a little bit of wind. So she was trying to coordinate to make sure that if it was too windy, we were not going to be able to take off. So thank God we were able to do the balloon ride. But she was amazing. And I'm so sorry that we didn't get to take a picture with her. But yes,
Yeah.
great experience.
Well, you'll get it next time. Yeah. It was great. And again, thank you guys for the opportunity to travel with you. It was one of the best things I've ever done.
Thank you so
Claudia.
much, Claudia.
Thank you.
And to our followers, make sure you follow Claudia Fabian at The Beauty Debut on Instagram. And I know she's on Facebook also. And so she's got great beauty tips, and she talks about aging with grace. Is that what we're doing? Aging with grace?
Well, we're aging against the machine, and we are aging disgracefully. Yeah.
Disgracefully. That's what we're doing. And you know what I told Anna today? We are redefining the señora. That's what we're doing. Okay, because we're not that kind of señoras, not this generation. So follow her. She's got great tips. And so I'm so excited. Claudia, thank you so much. And to our listeners, just remember to follow us on Instagram as well, _peacocks_travel. Sign up for our newsletter so you can get all the insights of the trips that are coming up. We will be releasing the 2026 trips very soon. We're going to include also Morocco again for next year, but we're thinking about also adding the Camino de Santiago, which is the pilgrimage walk in Spain. So that's going to be great. For those folks who had that on their checklist, on their bucket list, this is going to be the time to do it with the group. So thank you so much, Claudia. I hope to travel with you again in the future. And
you will.
Yes,
okay.
Thank you.
Bye.